The Lunar Remastered Collection is finally here, and I played for 4 hours this morning. I'm still in the early portion of Lunar 1, having beaten 2 bosses, and I haven't touched Lunar 2 yet, but I wanted to check in on my first impressions and my quick recommendation. First, some quick facts about this collection. It brings together Lunar, Silver Star Story, and Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, and gives you the option to play with classic graphics or the remastered versions. The remaster stretches the game to a 16:9 ratio and then upscales the graphics. The games also use the original US Working Designs script, with some minor modifications to the cutscene dialogue and a few references changed. I haven't hit too many of those changes as of yet, so I can't speak to exactly what's been changed. With that in mind, let's get into what this remaster does well and some early concerns that I have. First off, the FMV sequences are significantly improved visually. Everything looks much more clear than what I'm used to with the PlayStation versions. I'm not sure exactly what they did here, but they've made these cutscenes look like they were drawn today. It's pretty wild. I did think that the audio of these cutscenes is a bit off balance. I think the vocals are dialed a bit too low compared to the music at times. But again, they look excellent. And seeing the main cast of Lunar 1 appear in the intro cutscene still made me feel like I was saying hello to old friends after a long time away. If you're familiar with the original game, you will have noticed in that cutscene there is a new voice cast for this release. I'm not going to speculate way too much on why that is, but it's pretty clear there is a rights issue that Game Arts and Gung Ho felt was not worth dealing with. It could be that Game Arts wanted to be free to republish this whenever they wanted without having a contract with Victor Ireland of Working Designs each time. It could also be that they didn't want to use the original audio due to some script editing decisions they wanted to make. Either way, the original voice cast is not here. However, I am overall happy with the quality of the voice cast. Alex's first monologue hit similar emotional notes compared to the Working Designs dub.
I don't remember when it started exactly, but the dream of having a fantastic adventure in far-off places grabbed my heart early and has yet to let go. You see, my hero is Dragon Master Dine. Outside my village, there's a monument made in his honor. His adventures were the most fantastic of all, fighting evil, risking death, protecting the goddess Althena. It's all so exciting. One day, I want to have adventures like that. But the excitement of that kind is a long way from Berg.
Null's voice is entirely different, replacing the chipmunk-like post-processing for a more natural voice.
Oh, hey there, Null.
Alex, couldn't you hear me? I've been flying around calling your name for the past half hour looking for you. I should have known I'd find you here.
Where else would I be?
Honestly, I think this is a good change. There's one key scene with Null toward the end of Lunar that is supposed to be motivational and powerful, but with the chipmunk voice, it always felt too goofy for me. I know a lot of folks are worried about Wind's Nocturne, which is Luna's song on the boat from Saith to Maribia. I was a bit apprehensive going in, but I have to say I think that Jackie Lastra, the new voice of Luna, did about as good a job as she could do without actually being the original singer Jennifer Stigall.
Wishing on a dream that seems far off, hoping it will come today. Into the starlit night, foolish dreamers turn their gaze, waiting on a shooting star. But what if that star is not to come? Will their dreams fade to nothing when the horizon darkens most? We all need to believe there is hope.
I think we should give the new voice cast a chance and have some level of understanding that they're doing a job that's basically impossible. They're trying to fill a nostalgia void for a lot of us who played these when we were kids. So far, I'm happy. I haven't reached Galleon yet though, which will be the real deciding point. Since this is a remastered collection, you would expect the visuals to be improved overall. I'll note you can choose between classic and remastered presentations, and I stuck with the remastered version today because I wanted to play the game with the new version front and center. The remastered visuals are very bright, and there seems to be a bit of a white overlay on the screen that you can see when it fades to black. There's also an option for a blur at the edges of the screen that I turned off before even starting the game. I think they implemented this blur so that there's a bit more of a soft adaptation to the 16:9 ratio from the original 4:3, but I'm okay with the full screen experience without it. The text does suffer a bit in the remastered presentation. It's somewhat squished feeling. It's not horrible, but it's certainly not great. I have seen some screenshots of the classic graphics and the text, and it does fit the text boxes better there. The game world looks good to me. It maintains the visual clarity of the original and sharpens everything. I think they did a decent job of upscaling this and cleaning it up, other than it being overly bright. I've seen folks saying that the sprites look a bit heavily pixelated, but I didn't personally notice that as much, or at least I wasn't bothered by it. The battle sprites are sharp, with the original action preserved very well and upscaled. The menu options to choose among fight, magic, and so on do look a little goofy to me somehow. I'm having a hard time explaining it. They look almost overdrawn or cartoonified in some way. It doesn't matter a ton, and I glossed over it after a while, but I did notice it at first. It might just be my computer, but I did hit a few laggy points when scrolling on the world map. This also happened a few times in towns, mostly in houses. I can't isolate what exactly it is other than the scrolling. It's infrequent enough to be just a minor annoyance. So I don't know. There are plenty of little things that bother me or are minor problems in the presentation. It's still Lunar, it's still a charming world, it's just way too bright and has little tiny problems all over. Battles, though, look great with the classic animations preserved and presented clearly. Right, let's get into the meat of the gameplay. These are both classic RPGs with towns to explore, battles to fight, and bosses to conquer. And to be blunt, no matter what else is in this collection, it's Lunar 1 and 2. I love the games, I love the stories and the experience of playing these. And the gameplay is preserved and enhanced by one big quality of life feature that I'll get to. The NPCs in towns still have the working design script, so there is a level of silliness for some of them. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a faithful translation at times, as working designs replaced a fair bit of world-building dialogue with goofy references instead. Still, it is a nice bit of a nostalgia hit for me, and plenty of the dialogue helps with world-building already, so I can't complain too much. It's still fun to see the world, explore the various homes and shops, and see the sights around dungeon areas. One critical thing to note about this release is that, at least for Lunar 1, it uses the original Japanese enemy stats as opposed to the modified working design stats. For those of us who played these games on PlayStation in the 90s and early 2000s, we will find this version much easier. Working Designs loved to tweak the difficulty of games that they localized, and for Lunar, they increased enemy attack power, decreased their health, and reduced the experience and silver gained on defeating enemies. In essence, Working Designs turned this game into a fight against glass cannons that give fairly limited rewards. This collection does not use those changes, so enemies give more experience and silver, they do less damage, and they have a bit more health. So the games are now presented as game art's originally intended, which is very welcome and reduces the amount of grinding you'll need to do. At least I can confidently say this about Lunar 1, I'm assuming it's also true for Lunar 2. Getting into battles, there are essentially zero load times. On the PlayStation, these were fairly slow playthroughs in part because there was loading time into battles and then back to the dungeon maps, but no longer. Everything is extremely fast here, so you're in and out of battles very quickly. And you can also get through battles themselves very quickly thanks to a massive quality of life feature, the speed up option. In battle, you can choose between 3 speeds, and the highest speed still lets you follow the flow of combat while saving you time from animations. Again, this is an old school RPG from a time when it was much more common for battles to be slow and feature elaborate animations. These animations are great, and you should watch them, but after you've seen them a few times, it does tend to drag on in combat. Battle speed controls are an awesome change in this remaster. I'm very happy they are here. Fortunately, you still need to plan effectively to defeat bosses even with the original difficulty and the speed up feature. By the time you reach the first boss, you'll likely have Luna's ability to fortify allies, and you'll have to prioritize doing so in order to deal sufficient damage to overtake the boss's regeneration each turn. You'll also need to make use of the game's tactics and positioning system to avoid taking too much damage against the second boss, who can try to hit an area with his flame attack. The games aren't horrendously hard, but you do need to pay attention and be thoughtful about your battle plans. One thing I have yet to explore more fully is the improved tactical options. I did peek at the menu though and noticed some nice variety available. When setting battle tactics, you can now choose to have specific characters be controllable while others are automated. That's nice for characters like Nash, who has some status effect spells that you might want to cycle in while everyone else attacks. In the past, I mostly used tactics as the auto battle, just attack all out option, but I'm interested in exploring these new settings more in the future. Alright, that's a lot of words to say what's pretty simple to me. It's Lunar Silver Star Story and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, available on modern consoles with some quality of life improvements and Game Art's intended difficulty. For me, this is a pretty easy purchase. Some folks out there might hesitate due to the new voice cast and some visual issues, which I can understand, but I'm very happy with what I've experienced so far and I look forward to more. Thank you for watching this video. If you got this far, please remember to give a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more videos, and please tell me what you think about this collection if you've played it already down in the comments below. Thanks and have a great day.